evening and welcome to November Foxtrot. We're joined this week by James, his dog, Kevin, Lance and Andy. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Very good, thank you. Very good.
How's it all going? Everyone a good week?
I'm wanting some Colombian coffee.
Spoils of war, Kev. Spoils of war.
Absolutely. Everyone's a winner.
One of the lovely gents that came to our event gifted us some beer, and I'm sorry I can't remember what your name is, mate, but thank you very much.
Good play. Lovely stuff.
I'll be back in a minute.
Oh.
What was that? What? Sorry, carry on.
We're obviously joined by Kevin and James this week from Defiant. We're going to be doing a debrief of the recent Operation Red Tide, which was at Dog Tag Airsoft. That was at the weekend, and I can hands down say I have never left an event more tired. Absolutely. Oh, it was knackering.
We will take that as a positive, all right? We'll take that as a definite positive.
Hard work, that one. It was a hard work event, but thoroughly enjoyable. Apart from my knee. My knee would disagree if my knee could speak.
And your elbow.
And my elbow. Elbow's really good now for some reason. I think something's clicked back in or broken off entirely and I haven't got to worry about it anymore.
Just floating around.
Yeah. Exactly that.
We're joined by a number of people on the chat, so I'll just run through a few. So hi Kenny, Edward, Nerd404, Harry, Rage, Fresh Meat, Panama, Dan, Pony, Paulus Wales, Danny Plain, Marky Mark, Les, James C, Rage, Ryan and Harry Lampard. Hi Harry. C Marriott as well. Anyone seen any owls? That was a constant thing that
constantly on the lookout for them now though. To the forefront of my mind.
So before we go into the sort of the full debrief, because obviously we've got a load to talk about, you gents wanted to talk about your next event, I believe.
Oh yeah, go on, let's get a little plug in there. Avalon is lining up for 20 I can't remember the date now. 26th, 27th November. I think that's that one. Yeah, 26th, 27th November. Last weekend of in November. Up at Camp Sparta. So further details will follow. Ticket booking date is yet to be announced, but what we will do is we will notify those people that have signed up to our mailing list via our website. So go to our website, drop onto our homepage and scroll down, and you'll be able to get onto a mailing list. So those people will be told when tickets are up for sale first. All right.
Already done.
Well done,
Good man. Yeah.
we honestly, we don't spam the shit out of you. It's just to let you know that when tickets are available and when they're running low, and that's about it, really. We're not over the top with things, but if you can, I mean, we've got a full situation brief written, so if you want to know any more information about it, we can go into that, or we can touch on that towards the end of your live if you want, Mike.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, I had a quick question. Is that the Isle of Man flag?
That is indeed the Isle of Man flag.
Well spotted, yeah.
And does that I'm presuming that plays into the event. It's not just you pick some random flags.
It'd be a bit random if it didn't have anything to do with the event, wouldn't it? Yeah, it does have something to do with the situation, yeah.
Cool, nice. So we'll come back to that more at the end of the show. But I know we're hoping we can all be there, so that'd be good. We usually do like a quick sort of show and tell type thing. So any new purchases from anyone this week that they want to talk about before we jump into the chat?
Not purchased. I've got a couple of freebies. You gave me that cooling scarf, which I've not tried yet. Yeah. So I'm gonna wait until we get some nice weather and go and try it out.
I got a bulk pyro supplies patch and I'm very happy.
I got a NoFo sticker that I haven't yet put on a pelly case, so it's going to go on a brand new pelly case, like with nothing else on it. It's going to be the only sticker on there for at least 30 seconds.
Until you've taken one picture of it on there on its own, then you can crack on. Then have you?
Yeah, all right. Okay, I might put it on the new comms pelly. You know.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I, of course, was one of the people that made the huge mistake of trying to order something before the Jubilee weekend and not realising Thursday and Friday were both bank holidays. So my order arrived today, my multicam black sling and Spirit Assessment, the little insert to put inside the pouch so you can pad your like optics as well. That arrived today. Really nice. It's just simple foam folds up into like 4 sides or 5 sides. The sixth side being against your body is a good little cube. You got your binoculars, your NV, your thermal, your optics. Just put it inside your front of your pouch and just protects it. Yeah, really nice little pouch. So
does that work with the Spiritus 6x6, or is it? Have you tried it in any other pouches?
Yeah, it fits the 6x6. So it's designed for that. It also fits. And I've got the one that goes in front of the new
the dope
placard plate carrier. Yeah,
I know you want. I know the one. Yeah. I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah,
it works really good. Yeah, because they've all got the Velcro for the front bit for it to fit in. So yeah, fits in all the GP pouches. You could probably put in a Cry 6x6 as well if you're going to put nods or something. Yeah, really nice, really good setup.
Nice.
I did have a custom cable arrive for me from 5-4 Communications that unfortunately was meant to arrive a little earlier, but it kind of got lost with the Irish Post. That arrived late, so yeah, more comm stuff to go into the wagon because
you can never have too much.
Oh yeah, just open up the back of the Land Rover like comms, cool.
I think when I first saw in the back of it, I was like, "Oh, hello, comms." I take it this isn't the catering wagon then.
I mean, there was a fridge in there, but I think I jinxed it. I was like, I best fit fans and fridges, and then we had nothing but kind of cold weather and fucking rain.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was lovely. It was sunny. It was bone dry.
Positively balmy weather.
I thought it was quite warm once the hypothermia set in.
I honestly, when we planned this a few months back, I thought I'd be pulling like cold Red Bull and that sort of stuff out there. No, it just wasn't needed. It didn't even get turned on all weekend.
So something else I also want to share is we were very kindly gifted by Rage Rob on the chat a second-hand Spitfire AR red dot, which will be in our giveaway for our 100th episode. So if you're around on the 26th of October, we'll be doing a big giveaway. There'll be loads more. We're going to sort of drop little teasers about that sort of up and coming for the episode, but there'll be a whole load of prizes. We're hoping to raise a little bit of money at the same time for the Royal British Legion. So keep your eyes out for details, and we'll be plastering out our socials and stuff once it's all sort of confirmed. But yeah, thanks, Rage. Big shout out to him.
Massive thanks to Rob. Cheers, buddy. Top man.
Cool. There was also some show us your bits, I believe.
Yes, there was.
Yes, our first.
I think they got through to you.
Marky in the chat there. Marky Mark 109 sent us a few bits and bobs through, which Andy's gonna.
I've got to bring the screen up. Hang on.
I haven't even got it loaded up yet.
I think Mike's got them on the.
Yeah, I've got them.
Some nice desert DPL. There's the Bergen I was interested in most.
Yeah, I've got to admit, when it came through, I was a bit. Lance posted it up on the group, and I went, "Ooh, I'll take the gloves and the
gloves." Yeah, because at first Andy thought this stuff was for sale. He's like, "Oh, I had the gloves and the shemag." I was like, "No, it's not for sale. It's what the poor bloke's just purchased."
This is from Marky Mark. So nice at that.
Mark 109 on Instagram.
That fleece does look nice.
The fleece looks well nice.
Got shorts. Join you in the shorts club.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you'd like to send anything through to us as well that we can have a look at, because it's always nice to see what other people have bought, then you can do so. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to get this to work at the same time. So you can do so. You can email us at nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is November_Foxtrot_NoFo, or you can get in touch with us on our own Instagrams, which are on the screen below.
There we go.
Cool. Is there another picture?
A lot of nice digital desert DPM there. That's smart.
Yeah, I do like a bit of desert DPM.
Yeah, desert DPM's definitely coming back. It's
you can't beat that. The desert DPM bottoms with the woodland top.
Oh yeah, you've got
classic. It's like a 2-2 look all day long.
Really. Yeah, we were talking about that at the weekend actually, because I don't know if you realise one of the guys that was in command there. That's what him and his lads took out into the field, just because of the changing environment. Because they had only deserts to wear, but they were sort of in a sort of like in the green zone sort of area. So they were mixing it up with tropic shirts. Nice. Yeah,
I mean, desert DPM comes into its own in the UK. Funny enough, in sort of like the March time, where you still got all the leaf litter on the ground. and you're just starting to get the new sort of bud coming through. But that ground it's literally browns and yellows all day long in the woodland, and it's really, really effective. It's a really effective pattern for those couple of 3 months you've got it for. Yeah, it's all good. I like it.
Yeah.
So I like to get myself a set of Desert DPM shorts and then cut them real short. You don't need map pockets. Let's just have them as short as possible.
Nah. Short enough so you can see the liner of the upper pocket. That's what we want.
Yeah, oh, look, the camp prostitute has turned up.
You saw that post then, did you? Yeah.
Scrim scarf fishnets.
On that note, let's dive into the event. So, Lance, do you want to kick us off on the Friday?
Yes. So, yeah, arriving Friday from sort of 4 p.m. onwards to get set up down into our fob. Get your bits and bobs squared away. So it was quite handy that all the vehicles could sort of roll up to outside of the fob area, unload relatively quickly, and then obviously move the vehicles off to a secure sort of parking area for the duration of the event, which was handy. Got our call sign squared away in the front right-hand corner as you looked at the fob. Cot beds, crates was the order of the day, really. I did bring my Bergen with my sleeping bag and stuff like that in it, but for the DEA point of view, we had sort of like some change in roles. So sometimes it was like light carry, then other times it would be ops vests, or you might need your PC if it was like sort of going in quite heavy. So it was like 2 or 3 almost different loadouts required, as well as your weapon systems and that as well. So we had a bit of kit to bring. I mean, I brought more than what I needed. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's the trouble. When you've got a hard standing fob, you think,
standard,
right,
isn't it? Go to the event, bring more kit than you need. Yeah.
I've got hard cover, I've got a hard standing fob. Pack it all in, get it in the truck, get the trailer on the back. I want all of it. You don't end up using hardly any of it, but there we go. But yeah, it was nice. Got ourselves squared away quickly. Got some food on. Nice bit of steak cooked by Mike and a bit of salad. So yeah, it was all good. All good. Nice fob set up as well.
Was good.
Yeah. Nice fob set up. The steak was delicious. Yes.
That's what's important, isn't it? Got good grub on the Friday.
That's it, yeah. Everyone just like piled in, get everything squared away, get some food on, because obviously the event was kicking off at 11:30 that evening. So it's like, make sure everything's squared, mags are bombed, all your kit's ready to go, batteries are in, get the chrono in done. Then you can sort of sit back, relax, have a bit of food, and then you're not sort of like rushing around last 10 minutes. You know, get the briefings out. Obviously, the TL briefings need to be done, the radio op briefings, which was really cool. Enjoyed that. And then that's another element of an event that we've not encountered before. We've had like team briefings where you've had a tasking briefing, you get all called in, the team leader, as well as the oppos, all called into to a briefing room and whatnot. But having like the individual TL briefings and then the radio op for the initial start of the event, that was a nice touch. I enjoyed that. It was good. You know, it was a bit more inclusiveness. So like the radio, it gave the radio op a bit more of a role. Like I think, well, I'm actually the radio op, so I've actually got to do this now. And a clear instruction as to what's expected of the radio op, rather than just saying, here's 2 radios, talk to your team and talk to us. You know what I mean? Especially if you've not done it before. I've done it quite a few times, so I'm sort of used to it. But for someone who's not done it before, it can be quite daunting. But where you guys have supplied that briefing, I think it put a lot of nerves at rest a little bit, if you know what I mean. So that was cool. No, kudos to you for that. That was quality.
Yeah,
I mean, this was the first event I've ever run TL on, and I really enjoyed it. And I was... You know, I felt straight from the beginning of the op that I was actually making decisions. So it wasn't like, you know, here's just your rota, you're doing this, doing that, etc. There was an element of, right, you decide what you want to do. We're obviously telling you what we want you to do, but you can decide how to do it. You can decide how to implement that. You know, you're managing your team of guys.
That is very much the way we try and do it. We present you with a situation and then get you to either within your team or with other TLs work out how you're going to action that.
I mean, especially this is. I know a lot of people that were on the DEA and the task force were moaning about the stag duty. So just to reiterate, that
was all Mike's fault.
It's not all my fault, but from a TL perspective, so the role of the stag was obviously we had to identify as a TL meeting. So there were 5 TLs in total. We had to identify the weak points of our fob, allocate how many people we thought we would need for stag duty, and then ultimately work out the rota for stag. Now, there were some sections that only had 5 people, and there were some that had 10. So obviously it wasn't perfect just to throw, right, one section you do 2 hours, the other section you do another 2 hours, because ultimately you'd have had a section that was 3 men down trying to defend the fob. So we came up with a rota system, and it should have worked out that most people, you know, sort of did a 2 hour stint and then had, I think it was about 6 to 8 hours off. So obviously you've got taskings in that as well. You've got, you know, downtime, etc., etc. But I think the thing that a lot of people were, fuck off. So Rage just said, Mike, you sucked at TL. Les should have done it. A lot of people felt, I think, that they were on Stag almost perpetually that weekend because we were very much on the defensive foot. I don't know if that was intended with the way that the operation was run. But I mean, our fob almost felt like it was attacked or being shot at occasionally every 20 minutes, which meant obviously that led to a lot of stand twos. Exactly. So,
literally like that. Oh, stand! Oh, you fucking bastard!
Yeah. So, I mean,
Just as you get your head down, yeah.
The only bit of feedback that I'm, you know, one of the bits of feedback I'm planning to give is obviously it might be worth bringing it up in like the pre-event briefing. Or, you know, like the briefing when you're on the ground is firstly, don't shout contact when you just see movement, because the number of times I heard contact and then everyone's fucking screaming stand to inside the fob. It's like either someone's just plinking or they've seen someone go to the toilet outside the fob and not know who they were. And it's like, you've woken me up for this.
Contact Gazi.
Lance was on it though. Lance got stand 2, didn't he? Have you got that?
He did. I do have a little photo.
Yeah. It was.
I literally, I swung my legs out of my pit and I saw my boots and my trousers and I was like, yeah, do you know what? Fuck it, just put my boots on.
Was it you,
It's a good look. It's a good look.
At least my feet ain't going to be wet.
Yeah, that is solid. Was it you lot on Stag at that position when I was stuck in the Thunderbox and I just opened the door while taking a shit to have a wave at you?
Yeah.
So I think it was actually quite a big contact there because we had.
I mean, there was definitely some contact going on inside the toilet.
Yeah. Lucky enough, them walls are thick enough. I couldn't pick it up on the thermal. Otherwise, I think I'd have just left the event at that point. I would never be able to unsee that.
If anyone would like a copy of the photo, please email us at nofochat@hotmail.com or contact us on our other socials.
That's a fortune, mate, you know?
Yeah. That's one
on the fans page.
That's one for the 2023 Defiant charity calendar. That can go in. We got a few.
Oh dear.
So yeah, I mean, I know Stag was hard, and it doesn't help when it's raining as well, and you know,
it's one of them. It's a shit thing to do. There's no dressing it up. It's a horrible thing to do, but it's, you know, it's another tasking that needs to be done regardless. Do you know what I mean? So everyone will bleat on about it, but. It's never going to go away, so you need to embrace it.
If you don't do Stag, you're going to spend the whole event trying to get your fob back, and you won't be able to get your, you know, to your stove and get your tea on because you'll be fighting for it.
So just to build in a little bit of the pre-event planning for this event, we planned this around 2 cartels, but the combined number of both cartels was less than the number of Task Force Stroke DA. Because we wanted to build in an extra like 8 to 10 guys on Task Force Stroke DA to facilitate that Stag element of the event, to spread the pleasure, pain, whatever the case may be, of that into the event. So it wasn't a case like both sides were equally matched, like 40 versus 40. There was more on Task Force to enable them to have that, to provide that part towards the event.
Yeah,
we
know Otfor don't do Stag because one of our lads walked into their camp, didn't they, and took 20 minutes worth of video while wandering around.
Yeah, we'll come on to that for the Saturday.
Well, talking of the Stag leads us on nicely to the stand 2 during the day when we got phantomly attacked by an internal LMG.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So one of the more entertaining facets of the Stag duty was Chris Berry. I don't know if Chris is on the chat tonight, but he's got a very nice. Is it a 249? It's a TM.
TM.
No, it's Mark 46 Modo.
Mark 46. Yeah. So it's a very nice rifle until it randomly started shooting, like literally just firing, not constantly, it's intermittently, and it was shooting at the back fence, which was then rebounding off the fence at high speed into tarps and things that were kind of behind us. So we thought we were under attack. We're starting to sweep the base. You know, we're calling stand 2. We've got everyone eyeing up.
We've got rounds coming in, haven't we? Banging off that sound. You'll never miss it off of a basher, like a BB whacking off a material. Yeah, it's like, where's the fucking contact?
Yeah. So we then started sort of sweeping, like, no, they must be close. The sound is coming almost from the back fence. So, start sort of doing a internal perimeter sweep in case they got in somehow, and found literally that it's just this TM just literally randomly lighting up every once in a while.
Yeah, just on a runaway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
so,
control burst, so credit to the gun. Nice control burst.
More set to 3-round burst, yeah.
That's it, yeah. So my guy.
The problem is, I don't know if anyone's aware of this, but the TM, basically, you access the battery by taking the barrel off. So we've managed to disconnect the barrel, so that's now off. But the battery is now effectively sitting just below where the BBs are coming out of the rest of the unit. The safety's on. We have no other way of turning this gun off. So we're trying to disconnect the battery, and literally we're sort of like leaning in from one side, trying to prise the battery out so we don't get shot in the fingers.
Andy came to the rescue with a Sharpie pen in the end.
After you dismantled the back, looking for the battery, and I just shouted over, "It's in the front."
It's behind you.
It was almost like one of those command tasks where we had about 8 people trying to disassemble a runaway Mark 46 and disconnect the battery while it was trying to take our knuckles out.
It was definitely a council job. It was one guy working and 8 guys watching him.
Right, yeah, we would have taken the magazine off, but we honestly couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
it seemed like it was stuck in there. Yeah. We couldn't like disconnect the thing.
Yeah. There was only 8 of us to try and figure that out. It wasn't happening.
Yeah, I was trying to find a number for a local vicar to come and exercise it.
So this is the £1,200 Marui Mark 46, then, yeah.
Yeah, we should have just put it under a wet blanket and let it run itself out of ammo.
We should have just lent it over the wall and just let it at least shoot the enemy. Like,
yeah. Up the driveway.
That's actually that football match. That's actually what it was. It was just that runaway Mark 46.
Runaway Mark 46.
Yeah. Couldn't have odds that. Got to be careful.
Harry says, "Who wins, £1,300 TM or raindrops?"
Yeah.
So that was eventful.
Contacts win the day.
System, isn't it?
And do you know what? The funny thing was, we were taking rounds and no one shouted stand 2.
No.
It's just the Mark 46. Yeah.
Old Barry's weapons cracking off again. What a card he is.
That wasn't the words we were using, Lance.
No, it wasn't. No.
There was only about 8 of us in the fob, and we were all scooting around searching, so there was no one else to shout stand 2 to.
It's like that bit when Han Solo fires his pistol off inside that rubbish condenser and just bringing off the wall. Everyone's just oh dear, yeah, good fun. All good.
So jumping back, because we've sort of jumped ahead into the Saturday. That obviously there was the downed helicopter on the Friday night. I think is worth mentioning.
I enjoyed it.
So it was the very first tasking. We all sort of rolled out the fob up to rescue. Is it JB?
So how did you find the? So yeah, we did a sort of handover briefing from JB and the pharmacist that he was with to say that he was flying out the country and that was it from him. And then there was communications over radio to say that his wheel's up. Then a few minutes later, there was a bit of communication to say that he had vibrations coming through the pedals, and then he was going down, and he gave his grid reference and all that lot. So everything we'd planned to do, go out on security patrols and all of that, was suddenly upturned. Everybody was sort of like thinking, I'm just going to square my kit away before I get you the tasking. And it's like, we're moving, and we are moving now. So, we just wanted to pile on a level of stress pretty early. And kind of throw a curveball at you guys straight away and see how you dealt with it, which I have to say wasn't too bad. So anyway, you go ahead. Yeah, go on. What was your opinion on that? How did you see it happen?
Well, from our perspective, we were told, right, there's downed helicopters. So we were like, okay, cool. So I sort of jumped into trying to. I won't lie. I tried to mirror what Lance normally does because he's one of the most. I've observed doing a TL role. So I was like, right, what would Lance do? So I kind of got everyone ready to go, and we piled out, and then we got to this downed helicopter, and JB's literally laying there on the floor, and Rich was like, so Rich was being one of the GSs, was like, you need to check the body, and like, so I don't know why I did this. I went over to him and, you're right, mate. Let's go in. So fortunately, then a couple of the team were like, okay, we probably checked for like IEDs and stuff like that. But I mean, that was pretty impressive to the point of you've got at that point it's not just a mannequin. You've obviously got real people lying there dead.
He signed a disclaimer, so it was fine.
Yeah, I was going to say because we carried him back, and I'm pretty certain he hit the ground a few times.
I think we did all right.
I don't think
he did all right.
We were very supportive of that man.
Yeah.
Yes, very.
We're the only ones looking after him.
Yeah. So our section was tasked with basically securing JB's body, searching sort of for any other victims as well, and then kind of trying to hold off the cartels or I guess the civilian population from kind of getting too close. Task Force were holding sort of a much wider perimeter. And then we were given a body bag, of which JB doesn't fit that body bag.
Versus 5'11".
Yeah,
it's
poked at the end of him. That's what the whole trouble was. And to break his ankles to get his feet in there.
Yeah, that's it. In all fairness, body bags are one size fit most, and you kind of bend them. That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. But I won't lie. I did suggest that we break his legs off, but he seemed a bit. I mean, I know he was dead, but he didn't seem very happy at the idea.
Saw one eye open and he squinted at us at that point. Sorry.
So anyway, we got him in the body bag, and then a load of cartel was sort of coming over and sort of like giving us a load of jip about, and they're trying to find owls and stuff like that. Which was so that was quite an intense situation to be in. I think For me, it would have been better if we'd kind of had a bit more idea about the kind of role that we would be partaking in, because I know sort of pre-event, the DEA had kind of been, you're going to be mixing with the cartels, you're going to be trying to find drug sources. I didn't ever envisage that we would be having to do like a medevac from a helicopter crash site. The crash site as well was on fire because I know they'd got they got some pyrotechnics and stuff going on inside. The only thing it was missing was a Catherine wheel.
It needs a bit at the end.
No, that was cool.
Yeah,
one other thing I found, Dalton, was obviously once we secured the body, we got it ready to move. We were literally like, "Fuck, where is everybody else gone?" So we were like the tail end Charlie at that point.
Okay.
We were eight up. So we had 6 securing the body and only 2 guys that were carrying sidearms. So it was like straight on the net then, like to any task force. And then luckily enough, we managed to get Sierra 1, I think it was, who obviously got our call on the radio on the command net, and then they peeled back off and then came in behind us and sort of like escorted us out, which was a bit of a touch. Because one point I had my radio laying on top of the body, and then I just had my sidearm out, just sort of like looking about like if I was carrying a corpse. It was like, "Oh, all right, big guns are here now. I can put my gun away."
Yeah. See, I didn't see any of that because I stayed back to make sure that all of the pyrotechnics on the helicopter had gone safe. So clear that down. But I mean, I came back, did a quick debrief with you guys in the fob, and then went to go check on JB, and he was trying very hard to keep the chunks inside. He was feeling a bit sick after his ride back.
Oh, was it?
When he
was a bit swayy.
He was still stuck in that body bag. He couldn't get out, and it had been about an hour. Yeah, he couldn't get himself out. He was stuck.
But to be fair, I don't think body bags are designed to be let out from the inside, are they?
Exactly. Yeah.
Not exactly made of Gore-Tex to be a breathe.
In fairness,
role playing. Why are you moving?
I thought he was having a little nap, right? But he admitted to me after that he was trying to keep the contents in.
To be fair, we did put the shortest people at the head and the tallest people at his feet. So he was going back like that the whole way.
But no, that was. I mean, I've never done that at an event. Actually, like it carried, a dead person, but like a full body bag in a 6-man team. Actually, probably like doing a proper Casavac. You know, I mean, Ryan. I don't know if Ryan's on the chat. Ryan, at one of the Legion events, did a full farm and carry of a downed player to get him off the field. But this to me was just like a next step up in terms of that, and I definitely think that that's something you could do at more events. But obviously, really you possibly need the person in the bag with the crash hat on.
Yeah, I mean, you're traversing terrain at night, potentially under fire, this, that, and the other. So it was another element. You know what I mean? It was really good. It worked. You know, it was a hard work to get him back. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was a lightweight. Yeah. But no, it was managed nicely with a. Are you calling
JB fat? You call
not at all. Fat? But you think he was fully rigged as well? Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it wasn't.
He was a 6-man lift. I'm not calling him fat, but he was a 6-man lift.
Yeah. There was talk of getting the medic shears out. Let's cut his rig off, and he's like, both eyes open. Then it wasn't a little squint. It was like, you fucking dare.
I'm not dead. Yeah.
How far do we reckon that probably was? That Casavac?
5 miles at least.
Perhaps 10. Yeah. Keep going, lads. Keep going.
Yeah. Honestly.
I mean, it must have been like 10, 15 minutes of walking.
I'll say, yeah. You got back to the fob and you got your silver DV, yeah?
The person that only got bronze, you know?
That's it, yeah. The St. John's Ambulance badge.
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean, Ryan is on the chat. He says it all comes down to players' commitment and fitness. You need to dig in deep. I mean, obviously, you know, we aren't all the fittest, but we managed to take him back. And it was a case of, you know, just lowering him down, swapping people over when we had to and stuff like that. And we got him back. So, I mean, I was quite impressed by that.
My time as well, I think.
My particular favourite was when we came under fire and we very slowly lowered him because we were like, we were obviously conscious it was a real person, or a live person. So we were like carefully lowering him before we could then all get into the firefight.
Yeah.
Like, lower.
Because it was literally lowering him down nice and gently. And then literally everyone just took a knee and just faced out like all around defence, around the body. Literally almost like just keeping him sort of secure in that and just blapping some rounds off.
Didn't someone lie over him? I think someone leant over him so he didn't get shot while he was in the bag. Oh, I remember looking down and someone's just laid over the top of him.
Like, mate, he's dead.
You weren't supposed to tell anyone that, Andy. That's why you felt poorly.
It wasn't so much laying over as more defiling, but
yeah, it wasn't the chunks he was keeping in.
Oh dear. Right. Anyway, so we got the body back. And then we kind of jumped.
It's now been ruined for me.
Well, there was a flower on him, so you know you could say you took the flower off him at the end of it. But we got the body back, and then we obviously went into sort of full event tasking and the like. I know we did a couple night patrols to go and sort of scout out sort of various buildings and the like. I know task force. To be fair, I don't really know what task force's objectives were. I assume that they were sort of similar.
Well, they were acting on intelligence provided by through action, either by the DEA or as targets developed. They were basically acting as security for the DEA. So when you guys were going in belt order, you know, pistol belt only, they would be holding off with the big guns should all shit go wrong. So yeah, they were there as an insurance.
Yeah, nice.
So that was pretty cool. I know one of the other taskings, which I wasn't expecting, was Rich was like, right, we need to build a target package on certain people. So I think it was Simon Race, bless him.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, we got our proper pervy team on that. We were going through his Facebook, Instagram. I mean, at one point, I'm pretty certain we found his home address. But we were just information gathering. So I think the
got a picture of his library card from 1996.
Pretty much. Yeah.
His record of achievement from secondary school.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much the cartel know about this, but my WhatsApp is now filled with pictures of people that were like prime suspects throughout the weekend.
That's it.
And it's all open
source media. It's stuff that if you wanted to find out something on it, it's all out there. There's nothing
readily available. But again, it's just another aspect. It was like you're actually doing some investigation work, sort of thing, to sort of, like you said, to build a picture, to create an op for TF to go in and sort of like a smash and grab or something like that. It's cool.
So yeah, we had lists of names. We knew we pulled intel out of the helicopter that showed us some locations on maps. It showed us some brief history stuff, and we effectively had the ORBAT for the enemy. Okay, but it was just names and sections. So if you got a first name off someone, you could sort of figure out who they might belong to, or what their surname might be, and then start searching. Yeah.
Well, that actually led on to quite a bit of intel that we gathered. Was it Bo? His vehicle. His vehicle was a red flag to us because obviously he was with one cartel, and then when we started doing searches on him, after we gathered the intel from who's the cartel were based up the top of the hill? Is it Del
Golfo?
Del Golfo were based up the top of the hill. Now, when we had our deep cover up go in, he got some footage, and in that footage was a blue Jeep Cherokee. And then when he come back to us, he was like, right, I've got this. And then when we were searching for a certain person, we saw a blue Jeep Cherokee, and we were like, well, hang on, he's not part of that cartel. Why is his vehicle there when they're supposed to be sort of now sworn enemies, if you like? So that's when alarm bells started ringing. I think, oh, hello. Wonder if there's a little bit of to and fro going on that the big snakeheads don't realise. So I think then that's when we called that in, wasn't it, Mike? At that point.
Well, let's go back as well and talk about Woody actually getting into the Del Golfo base. Because that was genuinely my favourite moment of the entire weekend.
Was that Friday night?
No, that was the Saturday.
This was Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So just before you get onto that. So the guys that were running DS for Del Golfo at the top of the hill, I spoke to them on Saturday morning, and they were like, "No, we want to do a meetup. We want to do it down here because you guys don't know where our camp was." And I was like, "Well, we do, mate." And it was like, "No, you don't." I was like, "Yeah, mate. We put a CTR on it last night.
They do.
We do know." It was like, "Did you? Oh shit!" Yeah. Like we've been in there and out again.
So one of the taskings we got given.
Sorry, they were convinced that Task Force didn't come out the fob all night, and we have been everywhere. Been absolutely everywhere, and then come back again and gone, right, we know everything. We're done.
Well, I know one of the taskings we got given was sort of go out and sort of meet with some of the locals and sort of try and get a bit more intel. And as part of that, we just happened to be at the bottom of the hill from the Del Golfo base. So, Woody, I think it was Woody on our team. He was like, "Oh, should I just sneak in and see what I can get?" Like, okay, go then. And we're sort of debating whether to call it in because I'll be honest, James, I didn't want you to tell me off for sending one of my team in and going rogue. But we took the radio off of him.
We built a cover story, didn't we?
Right.
We built a cover story. So we took his radio and his gun off of him. And then Woody was going to go and pretend to be lost. So he didn't know where he was. And then the rest of us genuinely were walking around the site going, Woody! Woody, where are you?
Yeah, so if we did get approached, we were literally in like an extended line, just pushing through the woodblock at the base of the hill from the Del Golfo fob. Just so you know, we're missing someone. We're just working our way through looking for him.
Woody ran up the hill and he'd been gone for it must have been like 20 minutes, half an hour or whatever. And he came back and he'd literally got video of people in their tents, video of people looking at him. Like he was just walking around their fob, just like taking pictures and the briefing room and everything in the Del Golfo camp. So I would just like to say that Del Golfo, your fob security is cack.
They thought they were secure as fuck. They thought we had no idea where they were living.
Well, because we had an initial recce. Wayne and Woody went in to do an initial recce on the fob, and they got right into deep cover. And they had a 2-man foot patrol come out like feet away from them. I mean, they didn't have ghillies or anything like that. They literally just concealed themselves with what they had around them naturally. And they had a 2-man foot patrol go out. And Wayne got on the comms and said, "We've got a 2-man foot patrol doing like a perimeter, like a localized patrol around their fob." So okay, cool. But then he got back on the comms about 5-10 minutes later. He said, "There's only one of them's come back though, so there's still one out there somewhere." So we don't know where this guy went, but he never came back whilst we were there, which was a bit odd. So and that's when obviously they exfilled then, and then Woody went back in on his own, doing his Chuck Norris bit.
Yeah, that was quite funny because Mike said, "Right, go when you're ready," and then he turned around and went, "Where's he gone?" I went, "He's gone." He's like, he's disappeared into the brush.
Yeah, literally just went. Oh, wow.
We renamed Woody got his new call sign of Ninja that weekend. So,
yeah, he was Ninja.
I've had an interesting message coming from Nerd404 UK. He says, when you came for your DEA meet, I walked around your four guys and photoed their radios. So I had your comms channels. So fair enough.
Yeah. The issue I have with that, with stealing comms frequencies, is we use the comms that are on a Defiant license, right? And there is a finite amount of them. So if you keep coming back to our events, you will see the frequencies repeat and repeat and repeat. So we have to play it a little bit sensibly, that we don't try and nick each other's frequencies. And also, it's an absolute fucking ball ache to reprogram everybody.
Well, this was one of the things that we found, I think it was the Friday night, in that my radio started to pick up comms from a different one. I think that was the Hell Hatcher team. So I was just feeding back information. I think it was Kieran. Just heard Kieran's name over the chat, and someone was like, "Oh, who's this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Kieran." And they're like, "Oh, no, I'm Kieran. Who are you?"
I'm Kieran, and so's my wife.
Would the real Kieran please stand up? It's like radio. Some other things at the weekend were slightly.
We've got
out of game, should we?
Yeah, so electronic warfare is one of those things that we might partake in, okay, but not from a player perspective. Like my wagon's rigged up to do frequency scanning, so we might use that as part of an objective or part of a scenario, but it would be heavily controlled by DS. What we don't want is people stealing other people's frequencies, because it just kind of upsets. We put a lot of work into plan to do comms plans, and then you go and throw it out the window with one photograph. But typically, especially
well done.
Yeah, you twat. Bam.
I've got to admit that was one thing that worked really well, I thought, from our point of view. It's the first event that I've done for a while where we haven't had proper comms issues.
Comms was really good. Comms was solid back to zero. Within the PRRs and the teams was fine as well.
Both sides was really good. Yeah, both sides were really good. Yeah.
Well, we did have some issues from from where Task Force sat. If you were going the other side of a hill, obviously it's line of sight comms. At one point, I was stood on a step ladder, right, arm held aloft with a directional antenna, just to try and pick people up. So we did our best.
Expelliarmus! Was that before? Was that during the thunderstorm or after?
No, it was between lightning storms. I was up there with it's a directional satcom antenna. So it's like one of the big ones with the arms hanging off of it.
Oh, nice.
Just focusing all that power in one area and trying to suck in what radio signal.
I was setting up my poo chair at an event once, and it's like it comes in a little packet like that, and it's like a little click together, almost like a tent pole frame thing.
Yeah.
You get it out of the bag, and you can give it a shake, and it all sort of clicks in. And like some keys went, "Is that an antenna?" I was like, "It's a chair." Just haven't put the cover on it yet. Just haven't put the cover on it yet, mate. It's like, oh.
Kevin, I wanted to talk about your role in the event a little bit, because obviously. Early doors at the safety briefing, we were like, Kevin's wearing some very suspect gear there. So we were like, maybe he turns out to be like a player that we need to take some early intel on.
Suspect gear, he'd only just arrived then.
Wasn't even dressed.
That's just Kevin's Friday.
That's just me pre-event, I was late for that one.
He got there straight from going out Thursday night.
So, I think one of the things we'd say from Defiant is what we always go for everyone, whether it's BS, players, up for, I think Matt rocked it. You guys looked amazing, the DA bits and pieces. Obviously, I was on DA at the end of the weekend because of James shitting in that fucking bucket, whatever the case may be.
Let's not go there just yet.
We won't judge just yet. But yeah, I was always meant to be on task force, but we different guys with different commitments, not been doing. So I started off on Op 4. So all of us play a role. All of us engage in the event. Are we the target you're looking for? Maybe not. Shall we say? I think it comes down to the idea of the whole immersion of a Defiant event is, I think, that idea that people see me doing that. James at one point did his shiny glasses. Other guys did the bits as well. So I think from a Defiant event is like, we as the organisers, we are immersing ourselves in the event for our players' benefit. What that means on the day is variable from event to event. So yeah, it's like
I was so immersed I caught local food poisoning off of a food truck. Yeah,
full immersion.
Yeah, yeah.
I got local belly.
It's like I think I bought that cap in bloody Mexico and Cancun about 3 years ago, and never ever actually touched it. I actually cut the label off it to take to this event. I was like going, the thing's bloody white. How can I keep it clean at a site? And I didn't. All right, must have hit the floor about 20 times over the weekend. So yeah. I say from as I said, from like the Task Force FOB you guys were in, to the way it was ran with that's what command and control, to the cartels. The guys on El Hacha, they did all that mad like Hawaiian shots and things. They completely.
Harry's shirt was still the best. I'm sorry.
Harry's
I might be biased, but Harry's shirt was the best.
Harry's shirt was the best. You could buy the matching pillows and do the cassette if you wish. Please just go and wish and search James Underwood. And you'll find them all. I say it's like I sort of deliberately did that, shall we say, at this point. Obviously, there was the character in the event called what's it called? Espada. My bad. So it's like there's probably more pictures of me on the first few hours of that event than I've ever had taken any event in my life.
We got members of your own cartel offering intel for money, right? Big money on. Oh, this is the big boss. I'll glimpse you a picture, and if you pay me, I'll send it to you. I'm like, glimpse it. It's like, that's Kevin. Fuck off.
I must admit, I think Task Force BA almost ran out of frigging money, the amount of stuff that was given, because we went in there with big US money. We didn't give a shit how much we spent as long as we stopped drugs getting to America. And we did that. We still walked away with more money than I think both cartels had, because we picked up one of your couriers that was carrying all the money. Yeah, we robbed the couriers. He was getting dragged over the wall. Yeah. That's the one. Yep. That's the one. Yep. That's the hat. Yeah.
Thanks, C. Marriott, for that.
Check your Facebook messages. Yes. Thank you, C. Marriott.
So it's like, as I said, from Defiant events, we'll put ourselves in a place, we'll put ourselves in a role, but ultimately we are there to run the event. So, we're not going to have James kidnapped, captured for 8 hours of an event, because we need James to run part of that event. We need
apparently
George
not
to run something. We need George. Okay, yeah, all right. The dreaded Lurgy got you at that point. We need George. We need Brandon. We need Jack. We need Nathan. We need all the boys to.
Oh, don't know about Nathan, mate. Calm down.
I'm trying to look after my brother, all right?
Don't get all big-headed now.
Yeah, honestly, I was not a target at that event, but to actually put on the big kind of like shot and the hat and the shiny glasses was all part of the immersion for you guys to look at something and think, is he the target? Is he the spada and whatever else? I'll give you the dues, right? I can't remember. I think it was a Task Force guy or one of the cartels turned around, and even though we did the spada voices and it was through like a kind of voice like synthesizer, one guy turned around and goes, "Look, that's a Portsmouth accent or something," and literally, as soon as the guy spoke on site, said, "He is the Espada." And no matter how we did it, I don't know how this guy did it. It was amazing. He just clocked it. Some in the accent, even the sort of digitized version. He went, "That guy, he is the Espada." It was amazing how he actually managed to do it.
Yeah,
Pompey
boy got caught out.
Pompey boy got caught out. That's the one. Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in the chat for a second. There's quite a lot of messages. I apologise to everyone in the chat. I can't pick everyone out because we've got about 45 people in.
Ignore any from Harry Lampard. He's not relevant.
Oh no, Harry Lampard's coming. Nerd was the best actor at this event. He held his shit together, making him laugh. So
yeah, Nerd's a good boy.
Good lad. You know, as I said, we've got our core team. Guys who've joined us, guys who are doing that sort of role. We've got the immediate sort of core that plan the event. We've got guys who are really happy to help out. Nerd is someone who's joined us. He's come.
Hang on. Let's carry on trialing him first. Let's really squeeze the effort out of him before we give him the fucking title.
I would say no. I'd say he's. You know, we've got a group. We've got the people we call our preferred players. All right, and that's not as though he will come and do stuff to help us out to the event.
I would say preferred, mate.
Well, perverted. I don't know.
Effectively, they're a bit like player marshals, right? If we had to put it down to anything.
That's a good chat. But Nerd did the role. He came out on Saturday afternoon. It was so funny. Task Force came up to the El Hacha camp. Sorry, I'm going out the timeline here. And Nerd was literally due at that time. I don't know how Task Force DA didn't see him. But he walked in with his mask on, his shirt, and everything else as he was. He had a meeting with us. We showed him drugs. We showed him money. He was very impressed. And he managed to walk out, not seen by Task Force and DA. It was like so lucky.
We actually had one like that. We had 4 or 5 Del Golfo guys turn up at the FOB for a meeting. At the same time, we had an El Hacha HVI turn up, right? And we're literally...
sorry about that.
Oh, mate, that was fucking badmin. Like, because we're like, this shit's about to kick off. Like, we're working with both cartels, like, being nicely, knowing that, like, the other side of a fucking metal container is his enemy.
Because I remember getting onto comms with you, James, and saying, "Yeah, we've arranged a meeting for 12:30," and you're like, "Fuck." Yeah, don't worry, we can make it work.
We didn't have a choice because I wasn't going to tell him to reschedule. You know, it was just a case of.
Well, we didn't have a choice anyway. He got in a truck and fucked off at that point.
Yeah,
so.
that was proper hairy. That was because we come out of this tree line, didn't we? And literally, there was just like a wagon, an armored wagon, just come rolling around the corner. And we were like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, we're all in belt kit.
We just got belt kit. We were like, all right, lads.
I don't know how we got away with that one, but they ate nearly all. The Del Golfo boys ate nearly all of the bloody chocolate bourbons, and then fucked off and gave us shit all in response. Bastards! I'd rather give them money than chocolate bourbons.
Yeah. Bourbons?
Oh yeah! Oh, you didn't see the? Oh yeah! By the time you got down, the command coffee table was a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
Must always be a steady stream of biscuits.
So jumping back into the chat, C. Marriott said we park our technical next to the Del Golfo at like 6 a.m. and did the most polite raid ever. Fresh meat with regards to protecting JB. He said he didn't want to take him to take a round to the head. That's very nice of him.
Fresh meat that dived on him.
Wayne once again stepping into the breach. Wayne, well done, mate. Good on you.
James said you could have used him like a sandbag barricade.
Poor fucker.
Quick, lads, just get behind him. He's dead. He won't do the thing.
Chris says kudos. Chris says kudos to the 2 guys who climbed the wall into the SF fob.
Ooh.
That's a story for later on then, because by that point, because James had gone down and I had actually come across towards DA and Task Force at that time. So yeah, they did an amazing job. Pictures are up. They were soaking wet. They jumped in.
Instantly died.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was literally, as soon as it was like, we realised they're over the wall and there's people shot and like people going hit and going down. It was like pistols drawn because it was really close quarters. You drop your rifles and just hunting around that fob with pistols and torches on was like it was immense. It was sick. And the 2 boys that came over the fence were absolutely amazing. They did a great job. Took out a number of people, caused lots of hysteria, and Task Force DA, hunt them down. Well done as well. That was a really, really good bit of immersion and action.
Harry says James know how to make a stonker cuppa, and Bourbons was on point. Should clean the fob more. So I have a bone of contention to pick with these freaking cleaners because one of you nicked my knife, and I have no idea how you did it.
I think I
was following them around the fob because we were on Stag at the time. So I was like, right, well, I've got my guys on Stag, so I'll follow the cleaners around the fob, and they were picking up. Genuinely, people had just left like comms frequencies, maps, all sorts of useful. Toilet rolls, sorts of useful intel.
Toilet roll was very useful by that point of the weekend. Sorry, my dog's having a right weird moment.
I give you $1 million for my toilet.
That is my it's my dog's foot. She's rolling around on top of me.
Sorry, Kevin, what did you say?
$1 million for my toilet roll.
Oh, bloody toilet roll, honestly.
So for those that weren't aware of the great toilet roll war of 2022, basically the freaking cartels came in and nicked all the toilet roll out of the fucking task force and DEA.
Basic pandemic shortages come back to haunt us at this event.
2020 has got nothing on the 2022 estimates. Because just in case you didn't know, I came down with diarrhea and vomiting, and that was the opportune time to have a fucking shortage of bog roll. Honestly, that was.
Wonder where it's at. Constantly seeing James sitting in a puddle outside the front of the office.
Please read again.
That was a puddle of my making.
It's raining. Yes.
James C would like to see the doggo, please.
Raven, here, come on, let me come.
But yeah, you got these two cleaners roaming around the base. Ian said we put out fake maps for the cleaners. Well, I was going around literally nicking bits of things off them, so they were all just picking stuff up and pushing buttons and stuff like that. Oh, it was like childcare for about an hour. But then, literally,
that is what it's like to have Harry Lampard at an event.
That's my club, you know.
I mean, I must admit they were having a coffee with you guys, and I think I was sort of sitting there and I nodded off at one point because they weren't doing anything. I was just sort of took a bit of time, and they were trying to sneak up to me to grab a photo at that point. But I don't know when they grabbed my knife. I was so annoyed by that. But what's the dog's name?
This is Raven, or DE's K9, as her call sign is. Wait. Good girl.
Is that a Malinois, James?
No, she's GSD, but she's a Czech strain. So they're more like the original German Shepherds. They're a little bit sleeker.
Yeah.
Somewhere between what most people know as a German Shepherd and what a Malinois sits
at. The brindley sort of colour about it. Yeah, lovely. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Unfortunately, she doesn't take her hits, so she won't be at any games. Yeah.
I got to admit, when the cleaners came,
I wouldn't want to shoot her if I'm honest with you. I'd be terrified.
And take your face off.
No, that's what I mean by she doesn't take her hits. Yeah, she's.
I am not even holding a gun. See.
The thing, I'd love if we did an E&E event. I could muzzle her and we could put her on tracking because she's tracking trained.
Fair play.
Oh, nice.
I'll be strapping a pork chop to the back of an op for. Go find him.
What were you saying, Andy?
I was just going back to the cleaners when they walked up and I said, "Have you got any ID to prove that you're cleaners?" And he opened up his high-vis jacket and there was that shirt. I just went, "Yeah, come on through." I was like, "That's all I need."
That's my pass.
Yeah. But they turned up right when you were doing the briefing as well. I was like, just wait here a minute. You've come at the wrong time.
Yeah, but if you remember back to your Friday night brief with JB, he said that we employ 2 local cleaners, for kind of hearts and minds and to improve employment within the local region. So, yeah, that's kind of where it started from.
Yeah, but they didn't have to wander around with particularly high-pitched voices shouting.
No, that was for me. That was a distraction from the immersion, just to walk around going hello.
Yeah. It suddenly turned into a couple of Dickensian women walking.
Yeah.
Hello. I was like,
I was a bit disappointed. None of them did try to do the accent of Consuela off of Family.
Can you just quit? No. Need more lemon pledge. Yeah.
How about you, Andy? In terms of the event, what was some of the highlights for you?
Mine was that first night up where we got all the way round to the castle. When we literally just walked up the main road, and then we went up past the caravans and then down the hill and searched the castle and then came back again.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Like, didn't even need to have contact or anything, just ducking down every time we saw a white light. Like,
and there was a couple of vehicles out as well, weren't there? Which was quite cool. So it was like ducking off, getting off the road, getting into cover. Yeah, because quality. I enjoyed that.
Because that's when I broke my body glasses, because I dived into a bush because I was in, like, the car was coming down the road and I was in, like, a section where there was 2 bushes on each side, and I was like, shit, where do I hide? So I just dived headfirst into the bush and hit the tree trunk. I was like, fucking brilliant. I was like, great.
Ow.
And then just sat there in a crumpled heap.
But you hid, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Was not
that I really enjoyed, like the night ops and things.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like a nice change.
It was good, yeah. Like getting out the patrol disciplines and all that I noticed when we was out is all good. You know, you sort of bring it in a little bit tighter at night time. You know, being conscious of obviously sound travels a lot more at night. Keeping quiet, taking your time, slow movements down through the tree lines and stuff like that. You know, obviously being mindful of where we're putting our feet, because it can be treacherous. It's very undulating in some of the woodland. You know, it drops down 6-7 foot in places. Some of it's not vertical, some of it's very steep though. But yeah, no, we made it work. It was really good. And considering like not everybody had nods, you know, there was a couple of thermals
three of the 9 of us had nods.
Yeah, you know, a couple of thermals, 3 sets of nods out of the 9. You know, so you are guiding people. But I found I didn't use my nods. Obviously, I was reliant on my thermal a bit for PID and obviously target recognition, but certainly not for navigating, traversing the landscape. With natural night vision was suffice. You know, quite comfortably with that, and that was even under a canopy as well. So, yeah, it was quite good. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, I must admit, when I came over on Saturday night, and we did the first patrol on Saturday because we had intel of where the 2 cartels had come together. We can talk about how that happened a little bit later on if you want. And set a patrol, and the patrol going out, you know, it was led by Matt, I think it was at that point as well, who's one of our sort of preferred players. And that patrol, they didn't get into the camp they were at, but it was a really, really good patrol.
Can we call them trusted players rather than preferred?
Preferred, yeah.
The rest of you can fuck off. We've got preferred players.
Yeah. We only trust them, the rest of you. And a bunch
you lot are just cash cows now. Bugger off out of it.
I'm just trying to think how many people I actually trust, you know, but never mind. So, it's like when that patrol went out on Saturday night, I knew that different guys, obviously I'd come over, different guys had like stag at different times, and it was guys, honestly, it's like all four would turn around and say, where are task force? And, you know, I think the big thing to understand is like task force were doing so much with the patrols that weren't seen, and DA were doing a great job with the patrols and the interaction that was seen. And I say that's why we always put that little bit extra number on task force, in this case task force stroke DA, because it's a hard job to do. So when I came over and sent out that first patrol, I was trying to find who was actually at strength to do this. Some guys were struggling, and you know we've got to acknowledge that. But on the Sunday morning, when the sort of big push I put up the hill, because we had definite intel of where the cartels were, and that perhaps changed from the intel we'd received a few hours before. But I was hugely, hugely impressed with the DA and task force guys that came out. You know, some guys who'd like picked up knocks and strains who were due to actually go on a tasking, but they said, "Look, I'll do stag, so someone else can actually go." So the camaraderie and the support that task force stroke DA had on the Sunday morning to get the job done, I thought was frigging immense. Now, I say I'd spent the first like 24 hours with El Hacha, right? And, you know, we got intel from them, and from them, they were on the ground doing a task and within 5 minutes, which was superb. Task force, because that task force DA thing is a big machine. you get into it. It takes longer than 10, 15 minutes to get task force on the ground to do something.
All of the lads should have been aware that they were on a 15-minute notice to move. All right, so it should have been, here's your job. You got 15 minutes. You're out the door. That's it. In reality, a lot of the sections that were on there weren't able to achieve that. So
it's like you say that, James, but one of the things we do with the Defiant events, with as we said, and the boys were talking tonight about like stag, right? Everyone hates fucking stag, right? But we put the extra numbers in to actually support that. So people did that really well. People, we've got to acknowledge people did that brilliantly. And I say, I was hugely impressed, on that Saturday night, Sunday morning operation. People were out and they came back soaked to the skin. It was a dry hole, but they were soaking wet. But the boys all got up on Sunday morning to go and do it again, and we put that big squad together. We hit the first target. We got ideas from there. We hit the second. At the second, there was still people missing as far as we were aware from until we went for the tertiary, the third target. And everyone went up 1, 2, 3, 4. And honestly, the Task Force 3 guys absolutely smashed that on Sunday morning. I was hugely proud. It's kind of like weirdly annoying because I was playing with one of the cartels on the Saturday, but to actually lead the Task Force 3 guys out and smashing those guys on the Sunday morning and literally poking a barrel on somebody who's my mate a few hours before, you're dead and whatever else. But it was just to see the smile on Task Force 3's faces for doing that was huge. It was absolutely immense. They got out there, they did the job, they were brilliant all the way through, and then obviously there was the big final happening.
Well, hang on, can we talk about a certain football match that may have gone? I mean, there was, I witnessed at least one foul during that football match.
I would just like to point out before we go into the football match, James very kindly arrested Ollie, a lovely chap called Ollie, who had a couple of grenades on him, and then put me in charge of defending him in a container for half an hour. At which point the football match happened. I came out and it had all broken loose. So I didn't see any of the football match, but carry on.
What happened is one of the lads. He pointed out, it was like, that guy's got grenades on him. Without a doubt, that guy's got grenades on him. He was wearing like a hoodie, and there was clear.
You can't trust them, bloody hoodies, I tell you.
There was cylindrical and spherical shapes inside this hoodie pocket. So I grabbed him. I was like, "Hey, come here!" And I put my arm around his back, and I slapped my hand on his waist, on his stomach, and I went, "Either that's an odd-shaped colostomy bag, or you're packing grenades." And he went, "I think I've got some grenades." I was like, "You're coming with me, sonny." So yeah, walked him off at that point. I was just like, I need a babysitter to watch him for half an hour so we could get this strike up. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, it was the lads sitting on the hill, all with pistols, still in their pistol belts, and then the truck with the. I went.
And the intel that we got before that Grey Fox were all stashing guns and grenades, just
typical cartel kickabout.
Oh yeah. That's it. When Cartel are told to not turn up armed for a football match, and they're all packing grenades and they roll in with a gun truck, what are you going to do?
Also, you guys have never followed a football team, but played against Galatasaray. Right? You guys are missing out, all right?
I do.
Normal. That's just normal for us,
I do feel sorry for that gunner though, because I literally had the LMG trained on him, and as soon as that first tag went, it was just right done, and he went down for 30 seconds, and then he popped back up, and I was like, done.
We had a guy behind him as well, didn't we? So we had a guy in the tree line behind him, so he had nowhere safe to look. But that was so the plan of action for those that didn't know. We had a target of interest, a person that we wanted to snatch, okay? And we would have just got out and snatched him, except fucking Op4 decided to rock up with a gun truck like it was a normal football match. So we couldn't just walk out there and ask the guy to come with us because we were aware that MG might just open up. So what we effectively wanted to do was take out the gun truck by launching a tag at it and then we could launch an assault for the snatch. Now the tag failed. I believe it fell. It just kind of blew on the floor. It was okay. That didn't work. So at that point, it was a case of we got to take out the gunner so that we can make a move on with the snatch team. Anyway, we made the snatch. And everybody was suddenly dead somehow. I don't really know how, but I mean, I was dead. I was running across the middle of the football pitch and just kicked a grenade, and don't know how that happened. But
that was one of the task force. I'm sorry to say.
I thought it might have been.
He was hiding behind the wall, and he had like 4 or 5 grenades in front of him. He was just pulling pins and just lobbing them. And then he threw one and it hit the ceiling.
Quickly flashed up on my computer to put a shirt of everyone. Prepper Shop UK flash deal. Military large olive dry sacks are down half price, $6.99, guys. Ooh. So after the wet weather at the weekend, a few compression dry sacks. You can get them $6.99, the large ones on Prepper Shop UK. They're on there now. Use our discount code. And
use our code NoFo10.
NoFo10 for 10%. So that'll be a bargain.
They reduced already, plus 10% off?
Yeah, so they're half price at the moment on a flash sale, which is the large olive green dry sacks.
Oh, chuck us a link then, Lance. I could always do with more dry sacks to keep my things in the Land Rover dry, because the Land Rover is just wet all the time.
There's a link on our website.
Quick draining. Quick draining. That's what we call it. Doesn't leak, it drains quickly.
Well, it's so that when you ford into a river, it fills up with water, so you keep traction. You just don't float away. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
The old brick metaphor in water.
Yeah, that football match was interesting, and then it kind of died down, and then some fucker with a white van came driving past, didn't they? Were you on stag at that point, you guys?
Yeah.
What happened?
A few rounds were blacked.
Got mowed down by a blank fire, isn't it? Let's be honest.
To be fair, I was standing there and I was just like, oh, right, he's just pulling up. So I got the LMG ready and he went past really slowly. And then all of a sudden the side door opened. And I was like, right. And then all these rounds just came out. And I was like, what is happening? I was like, what is he using?
Yeah, it was impressive.
Excellent.
And then just shot off again. I was like...
In fairness, I think everybody inside that vehicle got a little bit of warm brass, one way or another.
Well, I definitely had a warm feeling, but it wasn't brass.
Although I would say that there was that rule, because I would have gone out and captured him, where they can't fire out of a moving vehicle. I was very disappointed.
You cannot fire from moving vehicles, and you cannot fire from a vehicle that doesn't have a dedicated fire point like top cover or mounted machine gun. However, blank firing does not matter because blank firing is just to help the immersive experience. So I don't care that he came in and did a drive-by with a fully automatic blank firing Uzi. That's just cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's why I wasn't annoyed. I was just like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You're supposed to react to it, aren't you? You're supposed to react accordingly, and you're like,
and as far as I know, you boys did act accordingly because Mike shit himself.
Yeah, but I do that most of the time anyway, and I don't think we could all moan about shitting ourselves, James, can we?
I mean, I shit a lot that weekend, but none of it hit my pants. None of it.
Can we talk about doors then, James? You know? That's not shit.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Saturday night. Yeah. Jeez.
That fob had a few doors that jump out on you, don't they?
I got a bloody mark to show it. I got a slice down the top of my head. I headbutted the door open.
Nice.
That's right. That's right, El Hatcher and Del Golfo. That was our command. Smash that into a door.
That was a room entry drills, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's how you get into the room.
That wasn't actually a breaching drill. That was me trying to get out to throw up, not realising that the door had been closed on me. So that heavy gauge steel door got the top of my fucking scalp.
Ratty just said, "Wow, watch out, shit's fired."
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fired.
There was no firing. It was just solid leaking.
No.
It wasn't
just
solid. It's just leaking.
Just a persistent leak.
just going back to the football game. Rage says, "I watched all of the lads on the bank opposite the bins take grenades out of their pockets or fight in order during the football match. I kept asking if we could engage, and I was told no."
Yeah, we held up until the time was right, and then we killed them all, and they weren't happy about it.
When Mike had to escort that gentleman into the into the cell, if you like, in the container in the fob, and he's like, "Right, you got grenades on you, mate?" He was just like, "Yeah, I've got this one here." He said, "You got any more?" I've got this one here. And Mike said, "What's that in your pocket there?" He went, "Oh, I've got this one."
Oh, yeah, that's a grenade as well.
Yeah.
What about there? Oh, sorry, I've got these 2 P grenades. I thought, Jesus Christ.
I'd like to point out was Ollie, and this is how Ollie spent that half an hour.
5 hand grenades, I think, on that desk. You can see one of the green P grenades there in the foreground of it. I'm sure there was 5 in total.
Yeah. Yeah, the cartel say that they turned up unarmed. The evidence says otherwise. Yeah.
Well, Nerd404 says, "I was on the hill and you shot the shit out of me and I was unarmed." But I think C. Marriott sums it up perfectly.
Unfortunately, some civilians may have been caught in the crossfire.
That's
just collateral.
Because then they just not as weapons au fait as the TF and DEA, so clearly cartel casualties were caused by cartel members.
I think C. Marriott sums it up perfectly. He said, El Hatcher 3, 0 Del Golfo, but we had a 3-0 lead. TF had a 3 KD ratio.
That's just nailed me. That's good.
Yeah.
I think we can declare Task Force as the winner of that match.
Yeah. The commentary was on point from the technical as well.
Yeah, enjoyed
the commentary that was coming out was definitely on point. The commentary box was fantastic.
Yeah. Anything else we want to kind of cover from the weekend? I know we're sort of running out of time. It was just such a good event. I really, really enjoyed it. And I say, I've never gone back from an event as tired as I was, but I was tired with a smile.
You know what? I completely, echo that, Mike, totally. And for me as well, and this is a bit of a strange one, is that I never fired my rifle until Sunday mid-morning out in the AO.
Lance, it's like,
and for me, and it's literally, but literally, Kev, I'm just like, my role for the weekend is like a DEA oppo, doing this investigative work, getting in with the civvies, gathering intel. And to be fair, I mean, I fired probably 3/4 of a magazine of my pistol Friday night when we were exfilling with that body, just as a suppressive fire.
About 800 rounds for a football match.
Yeah, inside defending the fob, different story. Definitely got rounds down from stag positions inside the fob, but actually out in the AO, and it wasn't till from the Sunday when we hit the Del Golfo fob at the top of the hill was the first time I actually it shot 5 rounds in sort of anger, if you like, out in the AO. But for me, event fantastic, absolutely brilliant, and it just goes to show you that it's not all about how many BBs you can fire at an event. It's not a skirmish. This is what a lot of people seem to realise as well. Prior to going to a MilSim, is that there's a chance you will not fire that many rounds.
It is about the event as a whole, so the experience
absolutely
that you receive.
Mm-hmm. Like that patrol we went on the Friday night, late Friday night, early Saturday morning, that Andy said about nobody fired a round. We had no engagement with the enemy, but it was the whole movements through at night time, moving through a wood block, traversing roads, traversing junctions, and maintaining that patrol discipline, both in a little bit lax coming back because you're sort of like, a bit tired now, getting back to the fob, a little bit like Mike echoed it a couple of times in briefings, not slacking off and goofing around and shouting and hollering, but everyone's sort of like, you drop a little bit, then everyone does. But for me, that's an element of the event is doing those patrols and carrying them out correctly and being successful at not being seen and not having to fire a shot, because that's the idea of your patrol. You are a recce patrol. You're not going out as a combat patrol.
Yeah.
So for me, it was brilliant, really good. Especially having them vehicles at night with a searchlight come on, you'll think, "Fuck, you're getting into cover."
Oh, Mike loves the
exciting stuff,
searchlight. Mike fucking loves the searchlight.
I mean, I think actually Mike did chase after the vehicle at one point, trying to find out what the serial number of the searchlight was, so he could, so he could add it to his
Those
collection.
German
What's that searchlight over there? What's that searchlight over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lance, what you said was perfect. It's like probably one of my.
Thanks, Kevin, by the way, for just taking it off back to what we were talking about. Just like,
bringing it back down.
Kevin's got my back.
I've never seen Mike so happy as when he's on stag at a watchtower. Honestly,
you know he's having a good time when he gets the little black diary out and goes, "That's another one." What time did that one come on? That came on at 0300.
Honestly, Lance, what you've said there sort of echoes and epitomes some of the best events I've done going to other sites as well. It's like you can have a great immersion, a great experience without firing a million rounds. I went to kind of like an event. It was a sort of like lone survivor type event, and it was literally that kind of like Afghan sort of storyline. And I think I got to started 11 o'clock Saturday, got to 6 o'clock Sunday morning, had not fired a round.
Yeah.
Did the rescue part, defied the movie, shall we call it, at that point as well. Got the person back at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then between 8 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock Sunday, fired more rounds in those 3 hours than I fired in 3 or 4 or 5 other MilSim weekenders. Because it was just, you rolled with what happened.
Yeah.
You didn't have an expectation.
I still think one of the best ones we've done, Kevin, is when we attended an event. We did a 16-hour reconnaissance patrol that ended up with us in an escape and evasion situation. But in that 16 hours, we fired 1 round as a patrol. 1 round.
It's somebody who literally put up a drone. We sat there and went, "I need to shoot you now." Bang. Yeah.
That was a great one.
Yeah, it's like, it's not, as you said, Lance, it's not about the firefight. It's about, for us as an event organizer, in literally chatting to you 3 guys tonight, it just makes us feel really, really happy. The wife walking past the background, it just makes me really, really happy. Hello, just makes me really, really happy that we can organise an event. Just going to wave again, which is not. It just means that we can organise an event. That you guys come to us for the first time. Yes, we've chatted a lot before, and you come to our event and you've enjoyed it. You've invited us back on, and you've seen the positive in what we've tried to do. So,
100%, mate.
For me, it's just like it's like the feedback. I think you guys will all have received our feedback form online. We've had constructive criticism. We've had positive. We've had praise.
Yeah, I think we've had about 30 back so far, which isn't bad.
I've got to do mine yet, I know.
But yeah, honestly, it's like when we did Sparta for the last event, and we'll come on to the next part a little bit later on when we get a chance. We took on feedback about top cover and machine guns. We made those changes for this event. So hopefully people at this event who have done both of those events see the difference we made in that, and they see the benefit of that change that we've taken on their feedback. And it's really funny. It's like I was chatting to someone over the weekend, and when we last did the live about comparing us to other event providers. I think this is our 6th event. Now, some other companies that we can talk about have been
7th. I'm not sure now.
7th event, yeah, sometimes, James. Yeah, other companies that we've talked about before have been going for almost 20 years, doing 10 events a year. If we're sitting there on our 6th, 7th, maybe booking or towards our 8th event, and we've got people that will go to both event providers' events, and yes, we're still making mistakes. Yes, we're still getting things right.
Oh, certainly.
We still improve things. I think that's a huge testament to James, to Nathan, to George, to Brandon, to JB, everyone who's involved with Defiant, and our is it preferred players or whatever term could be. All the people.
Let's call them player staff. That'll do. Player staff.
Well, different terms. funny. We'll come up with a term, but then tonight's live. What we're going to talk about.
Wankers.
You know,
Let's call them wankers.
yeah. There's so many people.
Preferred wankers.
There's so many people.
Harry Lampard and chums.
Harry Lampard and chums.
There's so many people that have actually stepped up to the mark and actually, you know, you mentioned Harry, and yes, Harry is a butt of many jokes, but Harry's part.
Harry Lampard is just a butt. Leave it there.
No, that's totally wrong. Harry is someone who is like, you know, part of a team. Their normal team leader couldn't make this weekend. Harry took on that DS role. Harry was great to work with. He got his boys organised. It was, you know, for Brandon.
He does support Defiant as well, like massively. Not only does he come to all of our events, but also when we are flagging and lagging as a team, he steps up and goes, right, lads, what can I do for you? How can I help? And it's lovely.
That's the bit about ours that is huge.
I mean, event organisers across the UK. I mean, I think I think it's hard to compare, and it's something that I've come to realise that it's very hard to compare one event organizer to another because their events are so diverse and different that you can't really compare them. If there was a mirror image Defiant team out there doing events just like you, then yeah, you've got a just right to compare to the two, but there really isn't. Like, you're completely different to the way the Legion run. I'm sure Sterling's probably different to the way Legion run, and the Octo games, they're a completely different setup. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, no, this one's much better because of this. It's not better. It's just completely different.
Yeah. In fairness,
you
we all learn. We all learn little bits off each other, and we take what we like, and we leave out what we don't like, or we develop what we want. And therefore, each event organizer has a personal touch on what they believe makes a good event.
Yeah. Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. But I mean, all in all, I mean, for me, an event, it comes down to it's like the firing BBs is a very, very small part of it for me personally. It's more like the kit you bring, your admin, how you're squared away, how you conduct yourself, you know, your patrol disciplines, how you work as a unit or whatever team you're in, or whether you're flying solo and you get put in with a team of guys that you've not been to an event with before. All those sorts of things all come into it. You know, the whole firing your riff off is at an event is way back for me, you know, personally. It's great, don't get me wrong, but it's that crescendo, it's that build up to actually doing it, to getting into that contact, because it's worth getting into it, and you've actually worked to achieve that contact, you know what I mean, rather than just going, oh look, there's someone, bang, shoot them. It's like, you know, at a MilSim event, there's a long build up to it for that first engagement, and there's a reasoning for it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you've just seen someone, so let's shoot them.
Yeah, they're wearing a yellow armband, so I'm going to shoot at you. No,
exactly. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I love about the MilSim as a whole, is that there's more reason for things going on, and obviously the taskings, there's more thought put into stuff, and obviously like the way you conduct yourself, it's like a massive part of it for me, totally. So yeah, kudos to you guys for making that.
Definitely, 100%.
It's like, Lance, you mentioned something there that I think is really, really important, because I think it's something that we as Defiant want to acknowledge. We had guys running sections on both sides. We had guys, and some of the guys coming over and joining us on Op4, and it's their first time on Op4. With a couple of guys running, like Ed running sections on Task Force, taking in players for their very first time.
I think that's something that we're going to do again.
Yeah,
and have some senior players that run teams of ones and twos. So where you get that amalgamated teams of individuals or ones and twos, I think we're going to try and put them under some experienced leadership.
Yeah, definitely.
And help them develop as players, and just help bond them as a unit.
100%.
James, we're on the same page here. You know, we had Ed helping out on Task Force. We had Gaz and some of the guys, and Max as well. Yeah, Max obviously, as Max is on this call tonight. Max is like someone and Jim and I've played with at different events and different events before. But he's come and joined us for this one as well. He's someone who's going to be part of the bigger sort of Defiant team moving forwards. But it's like that sort of like we've talked about a sort of development and evolution. I think one of the things we've got to look at as Defiant is like those guys that come along for that first event is putting them with somebody that we know as an event organizer and we trust, that will make that person that comes along for their first event or the second, third event as a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And we can actually give them a really, really good experience. Now, You boys came with what? What did you have for a team? Was it 10 of you?
8 or 10.
We started off with 10, and then we dropped down to 8 before the event.
Yeah.
One of our guys had just come back from Mexico, and he also had a squirty bum. Let's be pretty.
Absolutely no excuse. You should have been there.
He was there. He was there. He was dosed up to the eyeballs in Imodium, and it had a complete reversal of what he was suffering with. He then started suffering with a new thing.
And I sorted him out, trust me. And James covered all weekend. You know,
as far as for my debrief, I just want to say thank you to all of the staff that assisted. Matt and Richard, you were great on from a task force perspective. Obviously, we've got all of the usual DS guys and all the guys that supported that. Max and Ed, you were mentioned earlier, and thank you to everyone. But the biggest thank you actually goes out to Kevin, because when I went man down, Kevin stood up, and that's unfortunately, as Defiant, we were lacking 2 DS that had to fold for various reasons.
I had to find these.
Yeah. So as the Defiant team, we unfortunately we were lacking 2 bods for various reasons. So we really were running a skeleton crew. So when Kevin had to come over, not only did he save my ass, almost literally, right, but also it meant that the boys on the Cartel were then 1 man down, so they had to up their game, right. And guys like Harry Lampard, they stepped into it to say, look, let me support you. So it really is, Defiant has almost become a bit of a community, and I'm really, really enjoying what it's become. It was never planned to be that way, but that's the way it is, and it's great. It really is good. So thank you guys. Thanks for your assistance, and thanks for your help and support.
Nope.
Harry's still a prick.
So I suppose the thing is, like, Lance, did you see any? I suppose I'm going to ask a different question. Did you see any change, because we obviously had a little blip in staff on Saturday night from a customer? Did you feel a difference?
Yeah, I did. I got to see your lovely smiley face, Kevin. I didn't see that before. Because
just a bonus.
Well, no, in all honesty, so one of the reasons that I went with DE8 was the fact that we'd obviously met you before the event. So I have to admit, having chatted to you quite a lot before the event, I was kind of looking forward to spending a bit more time with you actually. But this is sounding so gay. But like before, just wanted to spend more time with you cuddling up in my passion. No,
I love you, mate. I love you.
But no, I mean, I think one of the things that I found was that it was a really, for Defiant, the Defiant event was a really kind of personal event, in that it didn't feel like I was just kind of one of a big moving team, if that makes sense. Like and this isn't a criticism of Legion in any way, because I get on with Mike like a house on fire.
Oh, I love Mike. I really
exactly do. But I know before I got to know Mike as just a normal player, it can feel like when you've got huge numbers of people, you can kind of just be like, you're obviously building your own little network within the team necessarily, and you might say hi when you arrive, but that's probably about it. I mean, now we obviously have the relationship with Mike where we'll have a barbecue with him sort of pre-event, and we just built that up over time. Yeah. But I felt, having only gone to your event for the first time and only having had maybe a little bit of contact with you, it was quite nice that, I mean, James and I, we got to have a bit of a laugh. Rich, got to know him quite a lot over the event. There was a couple of guys on our team that I'd not really kind of hung out before. That was Woody and
John,
Pasty. Cornish, sorry, his name's Pasty.
Yeah.
And then obviously these guys from Uniform 10. So when Max had to go home, that obviously we folded into our section. So I got to meet quite a lot of people and kind of get to know them quite well, and also the TLs from the other teams. Like when you're actually kind of getting involved with that sort of stuff, it's a lot nicer to kind of make those relationships. So I would say, like, my summation of the event, it was quite a personal event, and that you kind of got to make friends, basically.
Mate, I really
got
like
new
that,
friends.
I think the MilSim community as a whole can be seen to be very elitist and very, very sharp and unforgiving. And I want to buck the trend. I don't think Defiant is like that at all. I think we're We're serious when we need to be. We're there to have a laugh when we want to. But we're at the same, we're very nurturing and we try to be very nurturing and very inviting.
That's the same. That's like the mantra of our team, like the Punishers team that we run. It's exactly the same. Serious as and when it's needed. We're all there. At the end of the day, we're paid money to go and have a good laugh and some good fun. But there's a time and a place for seriousness, and there's a time and a place for horsing around. But like Mike said there about for the first Defiant event, and this is the first Defiant event I've been to. But sort of like after James had done his lovely briefing at the very start, covering all the safety bits and bobs and that, which was very well done, very well presented. It didn't feel like a new event to me. Do you know what I mean? It didn't feel like I didn't feel like intimidated or nervous about it being. It just flowed really nicely. It was really cool, And for me, just to put yourself at ease going into a new event, you can't want for anything more than that, really. Just to be like, oh Christ, all this is going on. It was a nice, easy flowing event. It had the right amount of detail. It wasn't full on in your face, and it was perfect. I couldn't fault like the briefing side of it. Like I said at the beginning, the radio op briefings. Mike had his TL briefings, and it brought that radio op role for me because I normally run like TL and radio op as just as a combined force when we do our section stuff at Legion or wherever it is we're at. But to have that RO briefing and sort of actually make that its own role on its own, do you know what I mean? Very contact reports and things like that. It added that little element to it, which was brilliant.
So we're going to start expanding on that RO role. I don't know if I don't know if you know, but I'm kind of getting into my comms kind of a thing. So I think we'll see skill sets. If you stick with Defiant, you'll see RO skill sets slowly being developed, and we will run not necessarily courses, but we will impart a little bit of knowledge. We talked about doing contact reports and things like that. So we will run more realistic scenarios and upskill people to meet those. But
another example, James, what you said about the nurturing, mate, the side of it is when after the RO brief, you said everybody au fait with like map reading and anything. Anyone need any help? A couple of guys said, "Oh, I'm a bit rusty with this," and it was like, "What? Come over here, guys. We'll go through it. Perfect. That's exactly what you want."
Yeah, I really liked the briefings at the beginning. Like literally for the first until we had that first contact, and afterwards, like when we came back and were doing the reports and things, it was like you guys were listening to what we had to say, whereas some organisers just like, yeah, that's fine, you found that information, but that's not part of the story, so you've got to do this. Whereas you guys seem to take the information on and then build that into what we'd actually done, which was actually quite nice. So it doesn't make it seem like we're just out in the woods, just having a bimble and bringing back information, but you don't really care.
I think one of the things you get, you go to some events, it's like you woke up, I need a tasking, and you're trying to say, go and stand in that building for 4 hours. All right,
go and recce that way over there.
For 4 hours, right? Everything we had from a Defiant point of view is like if we had something in play, if you were given a task, there was a not-for group in that location doing something for you to see or to miss, I think, as the case might be. All right, from that point of view. Mike, one of the things, just come back to what you're saying about the briefing stuff, right? Now, obviously, I said I moved over sides, and I was always meant to be in Task Force BA anyway. But I moved over Saturday evening, and obviously, we gave you guys in the morning a little bit of intel, a little bit of updating. We let the teams go in, come up with a brief, right? I was hugely impressed with your brief to your guys on Sunday morning. I sat there in the background, just aside watching you giving your brief, giving the information to your guys. And, it might not be something you've done before. It may or not have been, but with Matt and with the guys round about and asking those questions, the questions we gave you, the TLs beforehand, you gave our absolutely stonking brief to your boys at that point as well. So, I think that's the bit about that sort of development and evolution that we have from a Defiant point of view is like to give you the confidence and give you the skill set, the vocabulary, whatever the case may be, and give you the chance to run your ideas past some of our experienced kind of like players and stuff who've got that sort of middle background and stuff. So you can run that past them, so you can stand up in front of your boys and do that brief. It was superb to watch you do that, and I don't know if you've done that before, but I sat there aside and thought, have you done cadets? Have you done TA? Have you done bits of the background? It came across brilliantly. And, that is a testament to you coming to our event and stepping up to that role and doing that as good as you did.
Fair play.
Oh, thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I mean, I'd like to shout out to Andy as well for my excellent 2IC for the weekend. The only thing I was a bit disappointed was we didn't have a team chant by the end of it, but we'll work on that for next time.
You got NoFo with a jitty tune to it. I don't know what more you want.
It's like Mike. You mentioned a great thing there. It's like, if you're coming to any event, okay, I'm just going to talk about a team's enjoyment. I'm not giving the monkeys about Defiant at this point. If you guys are going to an event and you've got a good IC and a good 2IC who will step up and can cover for each other and know their roles, everyone as part of your team will have a good event because you as a team together have organised yourself beforehand. And that's whether you come to one of our events or someone else's. You guys had your shit squared away. You guys were on point at the weekend. Yes, Saturday night when I came over, some of you guys had worked bloody hard and you were knackered. I was hugely impressed on Sunday morning. Mike, how many guys have you got? How many guys are good? Yeah, I can do you this, Kev. Oh, Kev, I can do a couple more. That was huge. That was the guts and the balls of you and your team and across task force. And honestly, come Sunday morning, that goes back to El Hatch and Del Golfo. They got out of their pitch. They were tired. They'd been on the site for like 40 hours by that point because a lot of people were there early on the Friday. But they still got their kit squared away. They still got the guns out. They still got engaged. They got their bangs. They got the pyros. And everyone was up for a scrap on Sunday morning. So, yeah, it was huge.
I have to say, it was one of the most pyro-heavy end firefights I've ever seen.
It was a bit, wasn't it?
I mean, we were sucking down cordite like nothing I've ever known.
I've never been in a smoke screen that thick before. Like genuinely, we were going through, and the trees were just like lubing up as we went past them. It was There
was one point Andy's walking up that main tractor, the Del Golfo fob, with a mill smoke going off in front of him, just kicking it up the road, moving forward.
all I was thinking,
like smoke cover.
All I was thinking at this point is, I know that Johnny Airsofter is turning up for a skirmish down the hill somewhere. He's going to be wondering what the fuck is going on up that hill because there was carnage into the door. It was absolutely fucking mental.
To be honest, the people at the top of the hill were thinking, "What the fuck is going on?" Because no one could see a foot.
No, we couldn't see shit at all.
I think at one point Mike said, "Oh, it's on me," and I was like, "Where the fuck are you?"
All I knew is the area between the end of my muzzle and my shoulder was clear, right? That's all I knew.
That's all I could see.
Right, gents, we'd probably better have a wrap up because I'm conscious of the time. But thanks ever so much again for coming on. The audience will be surprised that you're not going to be on next week because obviously I think you've almost been on for 3 weeks running. It was like...
It's only two.
Coming to the end of the Defiant fortnight.
Next week we're going to be talking about I think it's costs within MilSim. So we're going to be sort of talking about how to MilSim with a budget. If you're a starting out player. What
non-extortionate prices of things you can get, looking at for your deals and your bargains and not the cheap
essential items and the cost of doing it, basically.
Exactly that, mate. Yeah.
So if you know anybody that might be interested in, joining us I mean like the whole MilSim community that maybe doesn't MilSim so far, then get them to jump on the chat. It'll be interesting to meet them. It might be hopefully beneficial in terms of getting a few more faces in the community. Gents, do you want to talk a little bit more about Avalon just very quickly? We did have a question right at the beginning from Marky Mark. So last time the Defiant lads were on, I asked to see sell me the event. So my question is, can you three describe the event in 3 words? So should we do that? I think the 3 of us will talk about Defiant Red Tide. If you two want to talk about Avalon. I'll go first. So in 3 words, Red Tide was wet, pooey,
right, still wet.
Yeah, still wet, and automatic. I'm going to go referencing Chris's LMG. Lance?
Welcoming, graft, enjoyable.
Andy?
Yeah. Tiredness. Sneaky.
Stag.
Stag. Yeah.
Sneaky, staggy.
Sneaky, staggy. Oh, just enjoyable. I could do it with an amazing event.
Yeah.
Cool.
There we go.
Right, guys, it's down to you. Sell us Avalon in 3 words.
I'm not going to sell you Avalon in 3 words. And purely because I don't think it would do it justice to the situation report that has been written by George on this particular op. Okay, so we put out a situation brief to all of our ops, and this is by far the best one with the most detail that's ever been written. It is a proper intel report. Now, what we're going to get him to do is condense it into a paragraph or so for those people that just want to skim read on the website. But the information in there is fucking spot on. It's brilliant stuff, right? Let me give you a brief idea of the event, or as it is planned at this point. It's going to be an insurgency within the UK. Okay, so a separatist movement within the Isle of Man, which is a current political movement, but we're going to throw a bit of fiction at it and make it more of a militia style insurgency movement. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So in terms of task force, we're looking at the UK Constabulary, we're looking at CTSFO, and we're looking at UKSF. And for Op4, we are looking at the MRA, or the Manx Republican Army. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's the flag?
Yeah.
It's the flag, yeah. We always try to up a game a little bit, but we're certainly going to try and do some things that are a little bit unexpected, a little bit weird. We are also going to try and minimise the amount of stag that task force are involved in. Okay. Some of the feedback we've received is, minimise stag. We're going to do what we can. I don't think we could have done it at Red Tide, given the facility that we were occupying. Yeah. But we can modify the positions that we're occupying at this event. So that's what we're going to look to do. So
get guys on the ground more, and rather than in a static location.
So I think that one of the things to say, James, is obviously this is our second event at Camp Sparta, and we had feedback over the vehicles, which I think hopefully players have seen that at Red Tide, that we made those changes regarding top cover. The other thing that we're going to build into this as well, that all sides, all factions will have a base camp. There will be no safe zones or safe areas or safe sleeping areas for any teams.
No safe spaces.
Safe spaces, yeah. Every faction at this event will have base camp, sleep areas, harbour areas that will be attackable for the entire 24 hours. We've looked at the site, we've looked at the feedback, we've taken on board the feedback, and we are basically creating an event that, did we get the last event completely right? Not in everyone's eyes, and not in everyone's eyes.
We are still learning.
We could, yes, we could. As I said the other one, this is our 6th, 7th event that we'll be looking to do.
Yeah.
And we're acting on players' feedback. We need your feedback, and we hope you listen to us. We hope that you recognise that we listen to you, I should say, and that we make those necessary changes for your enjoyment next time.
Which is a good thing. Which is something that not many companies do.
I am very much. I definitely want to get there.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Mike, I'm going to make you. I'm going to make it happen.
It's the perfect
the offer is on the table.
I know.
Perfect present, right?
So, James, I believe you had a little bit of a sneaky gift for our 100th episode, which will be on the 26th of October.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you're doing a giveaway for your 100th episode, and we'd like to donate a free ticket to Op Avalon for that giveaway.
Poor, James, it should be 2 tickets, one for each side.
Well, how many giveaways are you doing, Mike?
Two.
Well, so the idea
We're doing
So
two,
the idea-
James. We're doing two.
Oh, thanks, guys. That's nice of you. The idea of the
When has the Scotsman been more charitable than the Englishman? There's something fucking wrong here.
I'm waiting for
Kevin and I
Phil.
shared a special moment. So if you'd like to participate with that, we will be getting some bits and pieces out advert wise.
Kevin, that's coming out of your paycheck, mate. No worries.
My paycheck's fuck all, for God's sake. You know?
So we'll be basically raising a bit of money for the British Legion. So details of how you can enter the competition. It will only, unfortunately, be available to UK participants, just because I'll be honest with you, it's a ball ache trying to send stuff internationally. To be brutally honest, it costs us more than we can afford. So unfortunately, it will just be for the UK. But in the future, we're hoping to make it wider. But yeah, there's be some exciting prizes, and it's all going to be happening on the 26th of October. So feel free to join us then. But keep your eye out on socials.
A month from our event. Oh, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Perfect time. Yeah. So, Mike, obviously, for this weekend, I did have to play on both sides. So I think it's very, very fair that we put up a ticket for that sort of task force side and that sort of Op 4, which will be the sort of insurgency side. So I think Defiant, absolutely love what you guys do, the way you put out your message, the stuff you do, the little bits you share, the big things you share, and the loyalty you've actually shown us over the last year or so and stuff, and the chance we've had, the opportunity we've had to put our events and what Defiant stands for out there as well. So I think it's the least we can do is put a couple of tickets up, one for each side, for you guys to do as you please, basically.
Oh, thanks.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for
James
putting up with us as well.
James will tell me off later on, no doubt.
So definitely go and hit up the Defiant socials. I think I've still got it on here. Yep, you can go on their website, which is www.defiantevents.co.uk. And then you can sign up their mailing list, which will give you the information about the event when that comes out and when tickets become available. Guys, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I think Lance had to duck out. I don't know if he had some technical issues or something like that. So I'll say goodbye to Lance as well.
Did he get the illness that I was sitting with on Saturday?
He possibly did. He got the
just
run shitty bum bum.
There was no goodbyes.
Right. Yeah, cool. Right, so 100th episode, Operation Avalon, and next week we covered it. Nice one. Cheers, guys.
Thanks
Have an excellent week. We'll see you all next week. In the meantime, stay NoFo. I've never used that as a catchphrase, and I will never use that as again.
Jesus.
Sorry, let me just go away and cringe.
Yeah, sorry.
Hang on a minute.
Rage is going to beat me for that one. Cool. Right, say goodbye, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Cheers.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.